Thank you. Thank you.
All right, welcome everybody to the weekly coaching. We've missed a few weeks, so hopefully we have a lot to catch up on. A few things. We released our app for our other group. So that's pretty exciting. I'm getting good feedback on that. If anybody wants to try it out or see how it works, just get with me. And we do have a discount for the group members, so just contact me afterwards, and we can talk about that. If you do retail arbitrage, if you don't do retail, then there's no need to waste your time on that. Kelly wanted to know about how returns for FBA works, so we can talk about that and whatever else somebody might need some help with. So returns, can you explain, Kelly, what you need help with on that? I mean, if you get a return, it's sent right back to FBA, and based on how you have your settings set up, it's either going to, they'll return it to your inventory if it's still in the same condition, or you'll have to have it sent back to you, and then inspected, and then you can send it back in. So okay. We don't recommend that anybody, has Amazon reprocess it and, put it back into your inventory, because they really don't look at it. If somebody stuffed a box of rocks, and send it back, they probably aren't going to open the box to inspect it. And if somebody buys it again and they get a box of rocks, they're going to complain, and Amazon's probably just going to suspend your account, and then you're going to have to fight with them to try and get reinstated, based on that. So I don't think it's worth the trouble, to spend that 50 cents to have it sent back.
I guess my question is I keep getting, notifications in my email saying this item has been returned, period. And then that's all they tell me.
No.
So then I took someone else's advice, looked up on the seller reports to find the products. And I would say I probably have had 8 returns. And I haven't been doing this very long, but I sell a lot of Halloween costumes. So I'm presuming they're coming back because they don't fit, they don't like them. I haven't got any notification from Amazon that I'm doing anything wrong. But when I go to look at the report, there's only 2 that are listed on the report. One said it didn't fit. I don't know, one said something else that, was not my fault. But all the other ones, there's no mention of. There's no mention about whether I'm getting my money back or not getting my money back, or I don't understand.
Right. Well, all you're getting is a notification that somebody filed for a return. They don't. Right. It doesn't mean that they got it back. They take your money. So what happens if somebody, files for a return? I'm sure we've all returned something on Amazon. So they go do the return. They have a short list of options as to why they wanted the return. So I really get nothing out of that report. And then they have so long to return it, or depending on the category, Amazon might not require them to return it, or several different things. So when they do that return, it's just going to put it in, they're going to take your money, and then they have that time period to return it. Now, if they don't return it, which is what happens like 90% of the time to me, they don't ever return the stuff, and then I just get reimbursed for the money. So they give me the money back they took out. And usually it's 45 days. They're not supposed to return groceries or, a lot of beauty or health products, or they can't return any hazmat. So what happens is most of the time you just get reimbursed for it. So until you actually get the stuff back, I really wouldn't be worrying too much about it. I don't even know if I have any returns.
So if I didn't, if they never return it, let's say it's a costume, they get their money back. The customer gets their money back. Amazon takes the money back from me that I basically earned. Then if they don't send it back within that period of time, 45 days or what have you, then Amazon gives me my money back, my sale back? Is that?
No, how it works is they take the money from you immediately when somebody does a return, but they don't give that money to the customer. Customer doesn't file for a return and immediately get a refund. They have to actually send it back before they get the return. But Amazon takes that money that they gave to you. So, you know, Amazon's just holding it again. So they release that hold and it goes back into your account if they never do it.
Okay, and I don't have to manually ask for that back after 45 days. That just comes back to me automatically.
It's supposed to. But, you know, Todd can elaborate on that. There's actually a tool that he's trying out. We were talking about a few minutes ago that they charge 25%, but they'll go back and find anything that Amazon didn't give you that they were supposed to.
Yeah, they're supposed to, but it doesn't always happen. Same with lost inventories. Same with you know, damaged goods, carrier damage. They're supposed to do that, but they don't always consistently do it. And there's a whole bunch of rules wrapped around returns. Like you have to have a UPC code on the return. So if you sell shoes and they just send the shoes back, Amazon is not supposed to accept that. They're supposed to insist on the box. So there's all kinds of caveats. And you'll find, like, a lot of matter of fact, this has been a topic in excuse me, in several seller forums about people going through their inventory history and finding items just missing. I mean, you'll just see them either just lost or they'll just be deducted from your inventory, and Amazon won't say a peep about it. So there's really only one tool that I've found, and it's kind of it's a really crappy tool, no matter how you slice it. But it's the only tool out there that does it, and it automatically it goes out and creates a database of all your FBA shipments from the first day you start selling Amazon. It looks at all your returns. It looks at all the inventory adjustments and all the inventory movements, and then it matches them all up and says, you know, hey, these were lost units never reimbursed. These were damaged. These were, you know, it breaks them out. It can automatically open cases for you, but that's a horrible idea. We recommend having it set to manually open cases, but then it will go through and at least highlight the stuff for you that needs to be remedied. But that's a really long answer to your question. That's basically no, they won't always do that for you. You have to police them.
Right. Okay. So if you don't know how to do it, you just go in Seller Central. This is my secondary account, so I don't have a whole lot going on in here. But if you just go to Reports, Fulfillment, it takes you to this screen. And then over here on the side under Customer Concessions, you click on Returns. And then you can either download a report or view it. Okay, and then you can view it by however long you want it. So if I load the last 365 days, I've only ever had 2 returns of this account. As you can see, one's for failed delivery, and the other one, product wasn't described on website. They were reimbursed. The other one was returned to my inventory because it never actually went to them. So usually it'll say, you know, found it cheaper on another website, or, you know, product not as described. And you need to keep a close eye on these, because this is a good way to get your account suspended. Because what they do is they say it doesn't match what's on the website, and then you have that on your record, but they only did it so they could get a free, you know, free return shipping. Because if they don't like the price, or, you know, they found it, an option has found it, you know, for a better price, or, you know, just didn't want it, then they're going to give them, they're going to make them pay for return shipping. So that's how people get out of paying for return shipping, which is also getting most people's accounts suspended.
There's actually several websites that specify that trick for buyers. If you don't like something from Amazon, here's how to return it and get your money back. So it's kind of a known loophole that people exploit. You
know, so it's something you want to keep your eye on, but if you get a refund, there's no point in just rushing there to find out why, because there's no valid reasons. It's usually going to be some generic, useless reason that they give. Found it cheaper, didn't fit, or something that doesn't really matter. So, just check on them, make sure you get reimbursed or you got the product back, and move on. Have them returned, check it out, see if it's still good, and send it back to Amazon. Don't spend a whole lot of time worrying about this. Spend a whole lot of time worrying about sourcing. That's, as long as you have money, then, continue to buy as much as you can. If it's in whatever your selling profile is, don't waste your money on stuff just because you have it, but, always keep looking, for new product. That's the beauty of selling on Amazon, is that, they've taken all the problems, that, sellers have always had, dealing with customers, packing and shipping, and, creating product listings wherever you're at. Now all we have to do is source, and once we source the stuff, I use Scan Power, so I scan it. Get a third-party, software for listing. If it's Inventory Lab or Scan Power or whatever you want to use, find something that works for you. That all you have to do is scan the product, print a label, and throw it in a box, and you're done. Then you can focus on finding new product. I mean, we find so much product that, we can't afford to do it. I know Todd and I have the same problem. My friend Sam Cohen, sells $10 million a year, and he still runs out of money every day or week or month. For every successful seller, they have the same problem, is they can't buy enough stuff. The stuff is out there. You just have to go look for it. I have a team of people that go out and find, dozens of new products to sell. I mean, I created a whole Facebook group because we find so much more stuff than we can even afford to buy. So I have a whole team that finds these products, and we post them to that Facebook group. I don't even, we don't buy anything from there because we have so many people working to find the stuff. I really don't even focus on retail that much anymore because there's so many, wholesale and liquidation deals out there. So don't worry about competing with me, but all you have to do is go to Walmart and go down the aisle and scan the products. I mean, they are there. I have people paying minimum wage going to college that all they do is scan every item, on a shelf, and they find the stuff. So if they can do it, then you can do it. It's the simplest thing in the world is to scan a barcode. It literally takes no intelligence to do. So don't make it into a hard job. I'm not saying that, you're dumb if you can't do it, but what I'm saying is it's the easiest part of the job. It just takes time. It takes time and effort. So get out there and just, put that effort in and find some product. The product is just there waiting for you. I mean, there is so much.
Hey, we have somebody, if you guys could mute your mics if you're not talking. There's a lot of feedback.
I can fix that. I don't know why there's... See, nobody...
Sounds like somebody's kitchen is getting destroyed.
Okay, so that would be Todd.
That's me? Okay, sorry, I'll mute it.
I don't know.
Todd, it just sounded like all the dishes got ripped out of your kitchen and threw against the wall.
I don't know, but I muted you for a second and it stopped, so I don't know what was going on there. And it's just weird that aren't muted. Okay, so Kaveri, I think, had some questions.
Yeah.
Trends, things you guys are hearing about or seeing. Yes, this is definitely something I wanted to talk about tonight. It goes along the same lines of, looking for if you're looking specifically to source for Q4, I don't take bets on, new products that or even existing products that might be going to take off. I look for products that are selling well now, and then I spend, my time and energy into finding more of it. So, for instance, I don't, I wouldn't have been, Frozen when it came out and bought every one up I could, or buying, whatever the hot toy is. Yes, buy thousands of dollars worth of it.
Right.
I think we're better off finding products that are already good sellers and then buying them. And then, going out to these retail stores, you have to count on your competition being lazier than you are. If you're out there sourcing books, if it don't have a barcode on it, your competition's probably not going to type in the ISBN number. And, if your competition is not out there hustling in stores and going to 10 Walmarts a day, they're buying a list for sources to buy online, doing online arbitrage. And if they don't find it, they give up and move on. What you want to do is be the guy going out to the stores or going out to find, the deals that are there, however you're sourcing. Buy what's already selling good and, and go from there. Now, as far as trends, a great way to find, new trends that might be doing good is what you do is, as far as toys, what we look at is, excuse me, what's a proven fact in toys that a lot of people don't realize is people are, these companies, if you haven't noticed, they always release a small amount, and nobody really knows why. It's either to test, or they might just be creating interest for all these individual stores. So, Frozen, for example, and every year, October, November, the Disney Channel and a lot of these kids shows come out, which is right before Christmas. So, they don't know if kids are going to like a show. So they do a small release. It goes into the stores. Now, if it's popular, it sells out, and then they don't have time to manufacture it again for Christmas. So, they could be doing this so it sells out quickly, and then the stores make bigger orders for the next year. Or they could just be, doing it to test it. They don't want a giant flop, if they make millions of these toys and then nobody buys them, and, the stores lose faith in them. But, what is a known fact is that when these shows come out and they get popular, they sell out in every store, and then the prices shoot up. So if they're only available on the Disney store, and people are taking $5 toys and paying $50 or $60, if the kids want it, they're going to buy it. They're going to buy it for Christmas. It doesn't matter how much they have to pay. So I always look at new, new trends or new shows that are coming out. And if you got kids, watch the commercials, because whatever's on those commercials is what the kids are going to be buying. Now, as for Star Wars, we do post some Star Wars stuff, and we're, of course, approved for Star Wars 7, but you have to sell at least $50,000, I believe, this year, plus have proof. Now, getting the proof isn't that hard, but you have to be that big seller. But for most people, I don't think it's worth really wasting your time with, because there's not going to be a whole lot of Episode 7. They've been selling these toys since the 70s. They know how to do it, and Disney especially knows how to promote something that's going to be big. They know it's going to be big. They're not going to run out of stock. And a lot of that Star Wars stuff out there, it's not only Episode 7. Todd just got some toys that are Star Wars related. Okay, he's going to show everybody. So, you know, he got this piece. Now, this piece, obviously Darth Vader's dead, so he's not in Episode 7.
How dare you?
It's not an Episode 7 toy, but, you know, there is some stuff that I've seen that's still restricted, but you're looking at only, it's only toys, you know, from Episode 7. So we found some Episode 7 bedding already, you know, for example, that isn't restricted because it's not a toy. So, you know, it's a very, you know, it's a very narrow restriction. It's only toys, and it's only Star Wars Episode 7. So if you don't have something that falls under that criteria, then you can still sell it. And we're finding tons of stuff we can still sell. Really, the only thing for Episode 7 that you're going to be able to make much money on is if it has, if you can find any kind of exclusive, then, you know, there's not going to be as much put out there. There's going to be people in all parts of the country that aren't going to be able to buy it. You're going to see great ranks on everything, but of course, if every Walmart and Target and Toys R Us and, you know, every store that sells toys is going to have it, as well as, you know, every Disney store, then there's just going to be too much out there to make any kind of margins. And I mean, nobody wants to make 10 or 20% margins, even if you're doing wholesale. You know, I don't think that's what anybody, you know, hopes and dreams of selling on Amazon is to make 10% margins. You want to make as much as you can, and we all have only so much money to spend. You know, so Star Wars is great, but, you know, if you only make 10% back, then, you know, not so great. I mean, I found a great item that is restricted. You know, the giant deluxe lightsaber, the new Kylo Ren lightsaber, and they're at Toys R Us. They're an exclusive, and they're $199, and they were ranked like 15,000. But you only made about $15 on it. So, I mean, you're only making about 8%, but, you know, they're probably selling everyone that they get in there. But, you know, who really wants to make 8% on something? I mean, you know you're going to sell it, but let's get more money than time, then that's not where you want to go.
Hey, I think, can you try muting John's mic?
Yeah, I see that. I'm not sure why. Everybody should be muted on.
I think because he's on his phone, it's treating it differently.
There we go. Cool.
I don't know if that mute on entry is turned on. I don't know why it's doing that.
It's a conspiracy.
It must be. Since you wanted to know what are some options to get a pallet delivered if I don't have a warehouse and residence delivery is not a good option for us, are there companies that will accept the delivery and allow us to come in and break apart the pallet loaded into our own vehicles? So yeah, there's several options.
We went through a few of them, I think, a couple of weeks ago on the wholesale.
Right. We did a whole video on worrying about wholesale, but you know, depending on what trucking company you use, if they have a hub in your area, most times they will let you go there and pick up right from the hub, and it's going to be cheaper if that's something they allow, because you know, it doesn't go on a truck directly from them to you. It goes from you know, from one place to a hub, and then they're going to unload it from that truck and maybe load it on another truck, you know, just like the mail does. So they unload at the hub and then load everything that's going to the next section, you know. So it might go from New York to their New York or New Jersey hub and then go from there to Atlanta. I mean, I'm in Florida, so I don't know where you're at, but, you know, it might go from New York to Atlanta and then from Atlanta to Orlando and get moved again, and then they, you know, would go on that final leg of the delivery from Orlando to Tampa, you know, as an example. So if you can pick up at that hub, you know, they don't have to load it on a new truck and maybe send a driver out, for an hour or however long you are from that hub to deliver it to you. So, you're going to save some money on shipping. You're not going to have to pay for a lift gate. Also, a lot of, the self-storage places will accept deliveries for you. Now, you would have to, of course, pay for a lift gate because I'm sure they don't have a dock. And depending on where you're located, there's places where you can rent like partial space in like a warehouse with a dock, or you can look on Craigslist for locations with a dock that you may be able to accept deliveries there, that they could drop off there and then you come and pick it up, and pay them, a small fee for every time they do that. Or you could even post an ad on Craigslist. I mean, there's plenty of, warehouses with docks that, are small businesses that they're just trying to make a little extra money. So there's many options. As well as it depends on where you're getting it from as well, because, they may be willing to ship it to you instead of using freight if you're only buying one pallet worth of stuff. That's going to cost a little bit more money, but, most wholesalers and liquidators are doing UPS shipments as well. So, look into all those options. And of course, if you can't find, or figure something out, then, let us know and we'd be glad to help you. Is there a video on how to set up a parent-child listing when the parent was created by someone else and wasn't initially set up to be a parent-child listing? We haven't made a video on that, but, it doesn't matter who actually creates it, because, you create something, it belongs to Amazon. There's no owner of any listings on Amazon. So do you have much experience with that, Todd?
I've done it a few times. I think that's one of the videos I was thinking about doing for one of the Wednesday nights, is the flat file download and upload.
It's not really complicated once you've done it a
tedious.
couple times, but you're basically just uploading a flat file with the data in it. It doesn't matter. No parent listings actually are listed on Amazon. Everything's a child listing. A parent is like an umbrella that all the child listings are under. But you can create, it's pretty simple to create it, and, but I mean, that's, a whole video in itself. But I mean, we can definitely help you with that. Todd can help you. If you have something specific, just contact Todd on Facebook, and we're pretty happy to help you get a listing going.
Yep, I can do the file. Once you see the file, it's easy. It's very tedious and very specific, which you have to put in each of the fields.
Right. Do we use our own UPC? You should always have a UPC connected to whatever you're listing. Oh, you mean for the listing? Yes, you have to have a UPC connected to every item now. But yeah, I mean, always have. Excuse me. If it's a regular product, then you always want the real UPC for that product to be connected to that listing, because, I don't know what it's up to now. I know it's way over 50% of people are using, mobile for everything. So if they have the app, they can scan that barcode. Just like we're scanning to find stuff to sell, people are, going into every store. They're going to Walmart, they're going to Target, they're going to Best Buy, and they're scanning those items and seeing if they can find a better price. Now, if they scan it and they don't see it, on Amazon, then they're just going to buy it in the store. So if you don't have that UPC, then you're cutting out everybody, who is looking up things by the UPC. Or if they're at home and they don't want to go to the store and buy more, they're just going to scan that UPC and buy it right off of Amazon. Amazon's all about ease of use. So the easier you make it for them. Using your own UPC is, for me, a last resort. I mean, I've only used it a few times. If you're trying to sell a single item and you scan it and it's a 3-pack, well, contact Amazon, open a case, and tell them that that's not the right listing. show them what it's supposed to be, take pictures, whatever you got to do, but let them pull it out and make it right. Everything we can do to make as many listings right on Amazon is going to be better for everybody. Don't try and I'm not saying you are, but don't ever use your own UPCs unless you can avoid it, because that's cutting out everybody, an end user, from finding it. And the little competition that it has, I don't think it matters. There's 2 million people a year ago selling on Amazon as third-party sellers. So, if a listing has 10 people on it, it's just a drop in a bucket compared to everybody that's selling. There's plenty of money for everybody to do very well on Amazon. So, always use those listings. If you find one that's wrong, how long does it take to open a case? 2 minutes to tell them that, it's not right, and get your listings corrected. You're going to get a lot more sales by fixing those wrong listings. Were there any other questions, Valerie, or did you see anything?
I think that we're all caught up on questions thus far. If anybody has anything that, this is the part where you guys take advantage of, the group members. So ask questions, no matter if you think it's silly or think that you should know the answer, ask away. So Cynthia actually said she wants to bring up again multi-packs. So she thought that we had to use our own, they have to use their own UPC for multi-packs.
The rules are very vague as far as Amazon. They didn't write them, I think, the ways that they meant. So, the rules state that, every multi-pack has to be manufactured, created. But the way I interpret it, and, I've opened a few cases and asked, over time since this rule was put in there. And the way that I believe they meant it is that they don't want the opposite to happen. They don't want you to have, let's say, a 24-pack of candy, and you break it down into a 3-pack or a single pack. They didn't. I don't think they meant it the other way around, where they don't want you to take 3 of something and make it a multi-pack. If you look at all their rules overall, that's not what how they've done things, because it would mean that we could take 3 different kinds of Oreo cookies and put them together, which would make it a bundle, and that would be okay. But if you took 3 of the same kind of cookies and put them together, it's breaking the rules because it's not manufacturer created. So using your own UPC, a lot of times I can make listings for a multi-pack that, with the regular UPC, and sometimes you can't. I just, I don't know why it works that way, but if there's a single already there and I want to make a multi-pack, then, that's what I've used my UPCs for in the past, is, only if it doesn't work. And you can, I don't know, Todd, you have to use, I haven't really done many parent-child listings, but you can, you'd have to use a separate UPC even when you made a child listing, right?
Yep, either UPC or EAN, depending on what it was.
Right.
Yep, so you do have to have one for each child, for each unique variation.
Right, but when you, after it's merged together in a parent-child, then when you search for one UPC, all of them are going to come up.
Yeah, you'll find the entire listing with any one of them. Exactly, yes.
So you use your own UPC, but you'd be linking your 3 or 6 or 12-pack of a grocery item or whatever you have into that. So
exactly.
If somebody scans that UPC, they're going to see the options on that page for the other ones.
Yep, exactly.
So, you're creating it for that child item, but under the umbrella of the parent item, your item's going to come up in there as well. You know, and if you can't figure out the flat files, you know, you can open a case and they're going to bring all those multi-packs, you know, into a listing. You know, I've done that as well. So, yeah, I mean, I would always try it first. And if it don't work, you put in your own UPC. I mean, everybody should have plenty of UPCs. You can buy them on eBay for pennies a piece. You know, go out and buy, you know, 100 or 1,000 of them, and you have them. And if it doesn't work, then you put your own in. You know, but historically, I don't create a lot of listings. I don't think it's, you know, necessary. You know, I don't want to waste an hour creating a listing for, you know, an item that's, you know, already there. You know, I sell against what already exists, and I've only created a handful, you know, in the years that I've been selling on Amazon, and you know, and I think it's worked out pretty well for me. You know, but you know, of course, we've made bundles and things like that, you know, that we've created our own listings for. But I mean, that's you know, something completely different. Right, and if you have any problems, you know, just contact one of us. You know, I'm always around some kind of device to help you out. So, you know, if you have any problems, just contact us, and you know, we'll walk you through creating a listing, or you know, whatever else you need done. That's just regional items that you brought to market. So tried some new listings with those groceries. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely where the money is, finding those regional items, especially anybody that's in Texas. There is, you know, a ton of stuff there. You know, Southern foods, spices, rubs, sauces. You know, I don't know what
spices, everything.
A ton of barbecue. You know, good barbecue related items there. You know, sauces, all that stuff. So. You know, if you find something new, yeah, definitely bring it to market. You know, but, you know, our business model, that doesn't really work out so good, because we have, you know, thousands of items we're sending to Amazon. Okay, well, if that's it, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And
how in the world did you just do that? Look at this. Oh, that's fine. Right. Yeah, if you guys think of anything, you know, reach out to one of us. We'll try to address it in the group. Join us Wednesday, guys.
Who are you having on Wednesday? Just we're just gonna come hang out, or?
Yeah, we're all just gonna come hang out.
What are you talking about with Jeff Cohen?
It's gonna be about generating feedback on Amazon. So he works for Feedback Genius. He was just at the event I was at, but he's going to be coming on and talking about generating feedback from Amazon. So we'll have an exclusive meeting with him. You guys can come in and talk to him, get your questions asked. Obviously, Todd, Sean, and myself will all be there you know, to help guide that and answer questions as well, give our input. So join us on Wednesday, I believe at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
That's a late one. Put the kids to bed.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
All right, great. We'll see you Wednesday.
Sounds good. Night.